Welcome back to my Victorian duplex here in Nova Scotia, where we're in a constant battle against the water. Wherever you don't want water in a house, that's where we got it. It's coming in from the roof, it's coming into our basement. Heck, we even had a water feature in our kitchen ceiling. When I bought the house, it had spent several years without gutters, which caved in a section of our foundation. And between that and the giant hill that we sit at the bottom of, every time it rains, our basement turns into a floodplain. Not great for the basement, but also not great for our original hardwood floors just above it. So that is what we're going to tackle today, starting in on trying to dry out our basement once and for all. But first, we have a fun little task to complete. Well friends, another day, another load of scrap metal. Let's go. Now, we'd previously done a scrap metal run and walked away with a decent chunk of change.
$50.75. Cash.
But if you thought that that was the full extent of metal pipes and various metal fixtures we had in our basement, think again. The previous owner was a plumber, so, I mean, need I say more?
Manifold. Multipass.
You mean a money fold?
Manifold. It's a pressure reducer. And I don't think we have one in the system anymore. Maybe we should. You're supposed to put one for the domestic water, but we don't have one. Because the emergency plumber just put PEX right from the main, and then when we replumb everything, we didn't put one either. So eventually we might want to add one of those. Look at the pump. It went pop! I saw the red chunk here on one of the metal pipe we removed earlier.
Wow.
Oh no, we have a leak. We have to turn this off.
You too.
Another 55 Monopoly dollars. Empty car? full buckets. Good.
So the scrap metal was actually kind of just a side quest for today, albeit a very profitable one, but we mainly did it because we actually needed to empty out the basement to tackle what is going to be the main focus for today, which is finally starting in on an interior French drain so that our basement can hopefully stay dry every time that, you know, it rains or the snow melts, both of which are happening quite a lot these days. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what a French drain is, I'm sure you're going to know far more than you ever wanted to know about them by the time we have finished installing ours. But basically, it is just a underground method of shuttling the water where you want it to go. So you can have exterior French drains, you can have interior French drains. They're both pretty similar in how they're done. There are some finite differences, but essentially they're quite similar. And the bare bones nutshell version is you've got a perforated pipe that sits underground, and that perforated pipe allows water in, but it's, you know, the perforations are too small to let other, you know, rocks and pebbles and stuff like that in. And so the water that is running, you know, under our basement slab will eventually hit that drain and go into the perforated pipe. And that pipe will then kind of shuttle the water where we want it to go, which in our case is the sub pump that we currently have installed at the front of the house in the basement. It is currently a very, very makeshift temporary sub pump. We said that when we first moved in, that this was like a Band-Aid rough and dirty job, and we are finally circling back around, and we're gonna upgrade that with like a proper sub pump system. And yeah, so that's where we're gonna hook our French drain in. And I think the first step is gonna be to get downstairs and start digging a trench. So let's get ready to get dirty. So the first step in our DIY French drain plan involved opening up the concrete layer that is currently in our basement. Enter the jackhammer. Yes, believe it or not, we do know how to rent tools. We just prefer not to do it if it's not necessary, but we figured that, you know, trying to blast a several meter long trench efficiently and accurately through the pre-existing concrete floor was best done with an actual power tool, and that the money we paid for it would probably be made up for in the hours and sanity that we'd save trying to do it by hand. And so it began.
Okay, so here is where we're at right now. I just finished this section, jackhammering, and also testing the shoveling, see if I need a jackhammer to reach my depth or if I can just do it with a shovel. And it seems like it's mostly clay and doable with a shovel, so I'm gonna keep going with a jackhammer everything. If I'm done within the next 2.5 hours with the jackhammer, I can save some money by returning it early. Otherwise, we keep it until tomorrow when it's 50% extra. It's not the end of the world. Not even $100 for 24 hours. But it went pretty well. The slab is very easy to break. And the foundation seems to be on a bed of clay. So we're doing about 15 inches. We're gonna follow the whole wall and then go down the middle to the sub pump. And this is probably going to be it for today because it's quite physical and I'm already feeling it. But let's keep going.
Exciting news for anybody who wants even more house renovation content, because I'm starting a new thing over on the second channel. I'm calling it weekly debriefs, where I go through the previous week's video, add some more context that just didn't really fit in the main channel video, go through some of your comments and kind of highlight the really sweet ones, the really funny ones, the zingers, some of the sass. It's a really good time if you want more renovation house material, if you want to spend more time with yours truly, then head on over there to check it out. The channel is Shannon Makes Something Else. It will also be linked here on screen, right about here at the end of this video. So finish watching this video and then you can click right on over. I also last week on the second channel put up a video where I started going through all of the packages I got to my PO box. So if that was you, if you sent something, or if you're just curious what other folks sent to me, it is mostly fabric. You can also head on over and check that out. It will maybe be linked over here at the end of the video. Otherwise, it's on my channel. You can find it. Shannon Makes Something Else. Just wanted to, announce that because I'm quite excited about it. Had a good time filming it. I think you're gonna have a good time watching it. Probably won't be every single week just because I'm doing a lot of stuff, but it will be whenever I can fit it in. So make sure to go check that out. And with that being said, back to the video. Now, the whole point of a French drain is to catch the water that's infiltrating your basement, and it's mainly entering, in our case, through the back of the house. If you'll remember, our house sits at the bottom of a hill, and the back wall of our basement is the one that's facing that uphill side. So it's that back wall that's getting all the water infiltration in the first place, and that's why we're digging this trench and installing the French drain mainly along that back wall. Frequently, an interior French drain would be installed along the entire perimeter of the basement, but we just don't have great access along the entire perimeter, and we also don't have water issues along the side walls, just because the grading of our house and the hill it's sitting on is actually kind of working in our favor on the sides and the front of the house. So we chose to just dig our French drain in a T shape. The top of the T is along that back wall where we get the most water, and then there's one single trench leading from the back wall to the front of the house, which is also conveniently where our current sub pump setup is located. And we are back in the bedroom because it is yet again time for another quirky Hobbit hole update, and I'm quite excited about this one because this one is going to allow for viewer participation. That is yourselves. I will be collecting ideas from you, the viewer, in order to add some whimsy and some hobbitsy touches to the bed Hobbit hole nook that I will be building canal right back there. And in order to do that, I have partnered with Milanote. Now, if you haven't heard of them before, Milanote is a great tool for organizing your creative projects. And it's also where I've been organizing my ideas for this creative project specifically. You will have seen actually my mood board in some previous videos where I kind of teased this idea, and we're gonna dive into the nitty-gritties of it so far, where I'm at, what my ideas are, and then I'm going to open it up to you and your suggestions. You get to add your ideas to my Milanote board. So let's dive in a little bit deeper here. I've got my computer, I've got my board in front of me. And like I said, I have given some sneak peeks of this board before, but if we want to dive in, let's start with this image right here. This is the original inspiration for this project came from this image right here. Now, unfortunately, I am pretty sure it's AI generated. Don't love that, but that doesn't mean that we can't draw lots of inspiration from it. We can't make it reality and make a real thing from it. So key elements for me, those super cute little windows, which I can just envision Canal sticking her little snout out through the window if I put it at the right height. I love the foliage that we've got here and the vines. All of that, absolutely amazing. That was what drew me in, started the spark of this idea in the first place. And then the next image over here, that was one that I found kind of in like the similar vein, and you can see why. Like, it is unfortunately, again, AI generated, but we've got a lot of the same elements in there. So we have fairy lights, we've got hanging vines, some really cozy natural colored linens, and then I also kind of dig this tree trunk element they have on one side. I don't know if I'm going to try and replicate that on this project specifically, but I'm open to it. I'm considering it. And then from there, I've gone ahead and added some other images that kind of like evoke the same mood or elaborate on some of these ideas. So this window right here, I thought that it would be like a really great, fun, whimsical, and like naturalistic way to design one of the windows in the nook. The DIY tree trunk rug, thought that could be a fun touch either as bedding in her bed, or if I did it on like a much larger scale, it could be for the floor right here and kind of just add to the ambiance of this entire corner in general. Then I pulled in, you know, some fairy lights, some lanterns. Now I was thinking it would be neat to either laser cut or 3D print these lanterns. That's where I got these images from because they can be 3D printed. So that's kind of a fun idea, but a key point for me here on anything that has to do with lights is that it needs to be plug-in. I do not want battery operated. I know myself, and if it's battery operated and I have to go in and open a bunch of individual switches, they just won't get used. I will not use them. But if it's in a plug, you know, I can put everything on a power strip, then it's literally one switch. I can even connect that to a remote control, so I can just be laying in my bed and with the push of a button, everything goes on, everything goes off. So if you're gonna add some lighting elements in here, just keep that in mind. I really need it to be plug in, no batteries involved. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. And now I'm gonna open the floor up to you because I have made this board publicly open for editing by anyone who has the link. So if you want to add ideas to it, you just need to follow the link that's in the description. If you don't have a Milanote account, you will have to sign up, but same thing, just click the link in the description and it will give you the prompt to sign up. But the good news is Milanote is completely free to use. So all you need is your name and your email. You can even use, you know, just a username if you prefer not to give out your full name here. And yeah, so click the link in the video description, make an account, and you know, roughly 12 seconds later, you'll be ready to follow the second link in the description, and then you'll be on the board. You can start using it. If you scroll down a little bit on this board here, you'll see that I have made a section for you to add your own things. So if you just have an image or two that you want to share, you can drag and drop it into one of the columns that I've got here for individual images. You can either do that directly from your computer, or if you install their Milanote web clipper, then you can import images super quickly and easily from Pinterest, from, you know, other websites. So that's a really good option. And then if you want to create an entire board, like if you are just brimming with ideas and creativity and you want to create your own mood board, then go to town, please be my guest. You can find the board icon right over here, drag it down into the appropriate column, then give it a name and just have fun. You can use one of their pre-designed templates. There's a whole category here that I absolutely love. They have some really fun ones for creative crafty projects, or you can use a blank template and just like do your own format, whatever works for you. And whatever it is, I cannot wait to see what everyone comes up with. So I think I'll give it a week or two. So don't dawdle. If you want to be part of this project, like head on over there sooner rather than later. And in a couple weeks, we can go through it, look at what everybody came up with, everyone's various ideas. And, you know, maybe I'll go through and choose some of my personal favorites, the best ofs that I think I will implement on this. So thank you to Milanote for making this community project a reality. I'm very excited. I feel it's a little bit ambitious, could go a little off the rails, could be a whole lot of fun. And actually, if we want to look at the results of the last community project, turned out really well. So this is the the community made from the fabrics that everyone sent me to my P.O. box. I put this together, sewed it all by hand while I was working in Germany. It is now officially done. I'm not sure if anyone saw like the whole finished thing, but it's going to be a bow. It's yet to be tied into a bow yet because just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, it's going to be like a very cute little bow, and who knows, maybe I'll even hang it up on Cannell's Hobbit corner when it's all done. So this was one very successful community project. Fingers crossed that the Millinote board will be a second one. Cannot wait to see everybody's creative ideas. And on that note, onwards and upwards. Not one to be left out of the fun, I decided to take my try at working the new power tool. Unfortunately, what Phil neglected to tell me was that this particular jackhammer was not only really heavy, but it was also acting up, and he had already taken it apart a couple times before I got there to try and fix it.
Yep. Make sure that you press this all the way in. It's a bit finicky, just keep trying. And sometimes lift it up to reset the...
No.
Does it work better if you're facing it somehow?
It won't go.
Try lifting it up again.
This thing's fucking too heavy to do this every time. Nope. It just flat out won't go.
It's weird, huh?
Careful, you. In the end, I did get it working a little bit, but it was just too big and bulky for me to be efficient with it, and it was also incredibly frustrating. They make shorter models.
Yeah, probably.
This is not fun. I really don't enjoy it.
It's just a bit bulky for you, but...
I mean, if you enjoy it, keep going. If you
if you want to participate, remove the top as I go.
Yeah. And so sadly, I left the jackhammer to Phil and started slinging clay. Well, things are going pretty well so far. I'm just working over here on this half, trying to empty out all of the soil and clay from the trench that Phil dug over here. And he is currently just getting started on the other half over here, where yesterday we spent a lot of time clearing out this whole section here. So there's one smooth run from the stairs all the way down to the sub pump, and he's just getting it all marked out and ready to jackhammer this section up. So that's where we're at right now. Everything's going fairly smoothly as long as Phil is the one operating the jackhammer. And other than that, just the soil underneath is proving to be an absolute pain in my ass to work with because it's significantly more clay than soil, so that's fun. Well, friends, this soil is turning out to be a pain in my butt because it is not in fact soil. It is more like clay. Okay, actually I just picked up the one rock in here, but never fear, there's more where this came from. Look at this, just a big ol' hunk of nice rich red clay that weighs about a ton and really, really does not want to come out of the ground with my shovel. So yeah, been using a lot more energy than anticipated to get this out of the ground. But nevertheless, we continue. I am almost done with this half. So I've gotten pretty far on this trench. All of that soil is loosened up, but now I need to put it in the buckets, but all the buckets are full, as you can see here. So need to find somewhere to dump those buckets, empty them out, then fill them back up. This is gonna be a very long process. Longer than I had originally anticipated, but hey, what's new? All right, back to work. Now, the back wall of our basement, the one that gets all the water and is now the lucky winner of a homemade French drain system, that's also the wall where our stairs down to the basement are located. And one of them was proving super in the way for digging this trench. So we decided, you know what? We have 2 sets of stairs and we really only need one, so let's just move it.
Where did we put him?
And with the stairway gone, Phil now had so much more room to continue working, including taking advantage of the new space that he has to punch a small hole through the brick wall that separates the 2 halves of the basement. Nice. Here. Hello.
Hi.
Well, I'm done. I am very dirty and I am definitely gonna be taking a shower in a few minutes here, but I think a lot of good progress was made today. I did manage to almost finish this side. There still needs to be a few little things left to be done tomorrow, like making sure everything's the right depth and pitched the correct direction and things like that. But like I said, definitely gonna wait for tomorrow, but a lot of good work got done today. So time to shower and go see a movie.